Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this inaugural episode of Music That Makes Me. My name's Stuart. I'm going to be your host. Thank you very much for stopping by. Before we get started, I just want to kick off and tell you a little bit about myself and what we're going to be doing here. So, as I said, my name's Stuart. I am a singer. I'm a songwriter for a band, Chase the River, which is a band you've never heard of. Based out of Northern Ireland. I am a producer, I am a videographer, I'm a great many things to many people. What we're going to do here is basically just talk about music. I listen to a huge amount of music all the time, be it when I'm driving, whenever I'm just chilling out for a bit, whatever it is. And there's so much great music out there. That there's a good chance that maybe you haven't heard of the bands I'm talking about, and likewise, I'm always on a discovery to find new great music that's out there. So it's all part to keep me on track and not falling back into the same stuff. Couple of rules that I've set myself when I decided that I wanted to get into the world of podcasting, and they're fairly straightforward. I have them here in my little jotty down book. I'm only going to talk about the music that I like. I'm not ever going to talk about music that I've been listening to that I didn't really enjoy. That's not my bag. It's not my place to do that. And there's a number of reasons for that. I know sometimes I may be just not in the mood whenever a certain song comes on and I maybe skip past it and I don't return to it. I'm not going to speak ill of what other people have created. That's bad crack altogether. And maybe I'm the problem. Maybe what the artist has tried to say, I just didn't get, and other people would love it. So it's not my place to talk badly on folk. And the second one on my little jotty pad. If you're watching me on YouTube, you can see me shaking this around the place. I'm not bringing in a scoring mechanism into this game. I'm not giving like arbitrary out of 10 scores or answering on a scale of 4 to 11, answering as an African field animal. That's not what this is about. Like, the only metric I have is, was music enjoyable? Was it not enjoyable? And then at the back end of that, if a song's been enjoyable and I'm talking about it, it's going to be on one of the playlists that I'm curating over on Spotify there. So you're more than welcome to go and check those out and, get into the vibe. I have 4 playlists that are going to be part of this. Music that makes me happy, music that makes me chilled, music that makes me sad, and music that makes me work out. Side note on that, on the workout playlist, I'm really not a dance guy. Like, I know loads of people work out to dance music. Not my jam. Most of the stuff that's on there is going to be rock focused, metal focused. That's kind of where I'm at with that. And then rule 3, most of the music is going to be new or newish. But all of the music's going to be new to me. So, like, I have a couple of friends, particularly as we start this out, who are suggesting music for me to go and review that I haven't come across. Some of the songs that have come in have been 4, 5, 6 years old. I've never heard them before, so they're new to me, and they might be new to you. Or I may talk about your favourite song growing up from 10 years ago. But it's all good music, and there's so much out there, guys, that maybe folk haven't heard it. So, yeah, I'm going to try and keep it relatively up to speed, but at the same time, there might be some stuff that comes from the olden times. And finally, I really want people to get in touch with me. I really want musicians that are out there who have something coming up in the near future to reach out to me on the website, chaserriver.com, or directly at musicthatmakesme.com, or alternatively on any of the social media channels. Search, if you're watching this on YouTube, say drop into the comment section, give me a direct message on Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. I don't mind. I'd love to hear from you. Or if there's something you really think I should know about, if there's some cool music out there, then by all means, reach out. Let's get into it. But anyway, quick intro video, and then we'll get into the reviews. Okay, so the first song that I've been listening to that I have seriously enjoyed over the past couple of weeks has been Are We Free by Mick Flannery with, I believe, Susan O'Neill doing kind of a duet on that. This song is class. It goes back, right? So I'm mid-30s now, so I have like the music that really influenced me growing up was that kind of mid-90s sort of indie pop thing was really big over, certainly in Northern Ireland. So I've been pretty heavily influenced in that. The vocals on this track are awesome. They are super raspy. I've written raspberry down. That's how good my handwriting is. And they work really well together. Sometimes you see duets and they don't just quite vibe right. These two just absolutely nail each other. So it's absolutely brilliant. It's got a real vintage kind of vibe to it. Again, it speaks right to my childhood. So it instantly struck a chord with me. I love the chorus. I've made a note about this that like there's a big drop in the chorus. There's a lovely organ and bass tone, and there's this lovely jangly guitar that's kind of hard panned, and it just plays lovely. Content of the song, it's pretty much like I don't know if it's a breakup song or an exasperated relationship song. It's one of those two things. And I remember listening to it, going, God, I've had that argument in like a past relationship, that wasn't going the way it should. And it's got this really sort of naturalistic approach to vocals that just really struck a chord with me. I think it's superb. The orchestration of it, the structure of it, everything about it, just loved it. I have stuck it into the music that makes me chilled playlist. Even though I could easily have argued it into the sad one just because of the lyrical content, but it just brought that much nostalgia out to me, and it's got this really rich and warm production that I just kind of like sat back and really zoned out listening to it. So Are We Free by Mick Flannery, super song. Strongly recommend you go over to the Music That Makes Me Chill playlist and find that in there. And then the next one is actually another one that's going into the chill playlist, which is Jelly Roll, Son of a Sinner. Now, Jelly Roll are interesting for me because he is a man that he pushes as close to country as I would really get normally, but he's got this superb kind of rag and bone man quality, if I'm doing a compare and contrast, which is something I really I'm keen not to do a lot of the time. Really just a lovely vocal, like just the whole thing with Jelly Roll. I've listened to a load of his stuff. This is a more recent one by him, Son of a Sinner, but it's got this incredible vocal take, and everything kind of builds around that. The instrumentation, the guitar, the drums, it's all, there's nothing that kind of stands out to do anything else other than to kind of form a platform for that man's voice. But that's kind of what it's about, and it's absolutely worth it. Great sort of mid-lower tempo song. I've made a note there that the drum tone, I'm a sucker for drum tone. I've been a drummer for years. Don't let all the guitars behind me fool you. And these sort of soft brush work on the toms. Whoever was recording that, I don't know who produced it, but it's absolutely superb. So again, that's stuck into the Music That Makes Me Chilled one. You'll probably not see me go too much further down the country genre, sort of willingly, but that's got just this little country twist to it, that I really like. So Jelly Roll, someone I absolutely, I've only kind of come across him maybe about 6 months ago, but everything that I've kind of come across has been super accessible for me. I've really enjoyed listening to it, so highly recommend that. And then the third one is from an all-time favorite artist of mine, to be honest. It's Eddie Vedder. For those who are not initiated into Pearl Jam or any of his other solo work, I can't say enough about Eddie Vedder as a songwriter or as a performer. I've seen him live loads of times when he's come to Belfast. Absolutely superlative voice. He's got this unique tone, and what do you say? But like anybody who knows Eddie Vedder or Pearl Jam automatically wants to listen to this song, I feel. But if you don't know them, I know a lot of guys who've never really sort of engaged with Pearl Jam or Eddie Vedder solo stuff, or have ever seen Into the Wild, where he did the full soundtrack, obviously, and it's just a superlative soundtrack. But Long Way's a bit different. It's got this real 80s vibe to it. I've made a load of notes about the guitar tone. It's drenched in chorus, and it's got that real sort of in vogue 80s tone that is kind of all over the place. Recently, I know like John Mayer's recent album, that Sob Rock thing, which everybody kind of hit on a bit. I didn't mind it so much. The lyrical content was a bit meh, but at the same time, the I'm a sucker for tone, right? So if there's a great guitar tone, great sort of production value, you gotta love it, right? And Mayer's always had that, and Sob Rock's no different. But it's hard into that 80s stuff, you know, load of really good synths, loads of whirlies, loads of just this real beautiful guitar work. So and Eddie Vedder's doing that in Long Way as well. Content wise, this is pretty generic. There's always, I suppose, the thing that has always attracted me to Eddie Vedder as a songwriter, and as a songwriter myself, is he always finds this interesting turn of phrase in whatever he's trying to say. Like he makes a mundane concept really nice to listen to and talk about. So certainly, like it's classic Vedder. Like the lyrical content's just very nice. There's some lovely little bits in it, but nothing that massively kind of grabs you. It's I've made a note here. It's a chilled out, more polished version of a Pearl Jam single. Pearl Jam always kind of lived a wee bit in the rougher edge, certainly in their earlier career. Not so much now, that they're all getting on a bit in age. I love the end of the song. There's a huge big crescendo with whirlies. The vocals make a real sort of change towards the end, and Eddie Vedder kind of lets go a bit and really sort of brings it out. And there's a lovely guitar drone in there. It's straight into music that makes me happy. That even sad songs that they release will make me happy. This is upbeat. This is a great wee tune. Eddie Vedder doing what Eddie Vedder does best. So head on over to the happy playlist to get a bit of that. My handwriting is terrible. So what happens, just so you know, so I listen to a whole load of music, and then I set aside some time. I like chuck it into this playlist of like songs, and then once a week I just kind of pick 5 or 6 out, and I make notes about what I've really enjoyed about them. So this is Evan Bartels, Nights I Can't Love You, which is what I would always refer to as a distance love song. So there's like, to me, there's 2 types of love songs that happen. There is the ones where there's 2 people who are in love or falling in love or falling out of love or whatever, and then you've got the distance ones where the one party is there, maybe in a relationship or single or whatever, and you've got the guy at a distance or the girl at a distance, and they're, you know, in love, not getting that. So this is right in that. And again, sort of very similar to the Jelly Roll song. It's all about the vocal delivery. So like all the instrumentation is really built around that. Evan does a great job. This is like, I'm not familiar with Evan Bartels. He was completely new to me 10 days ago. I love it. I had the song on 4 or 5 times. It's fairly stock. It's not reinventing the wheel for this type of music at all. The delivery is fantastic. The lyrical content's great. It's very, very smart. Again, some nice flourishes, some nice touches. The instrumentation, there's some lovely guitar swell works. Again, I'm always going to talk to you about tone, right? It's like I'm sitting there with headphones on, I'm listening through, and I really just enjoy some real tonal quality. There's these lovely guitar swells that come in on the left and right just at various times, and they just really bring out the soul of the song, and they really accentuate it. So anything to me in the production value, anything that brings out what the song is about and what it's trying to say, what the messaging of that song is all good for me, right? So Evan Bartels, Nights I Can't Love You, I had this thing on repeat. Really loved it. It's in my music that makes me sad playlist, which isn't always about music that necessarily is going to induce sadness in my life, but just, those sort of ones that you want to kind of, when you're in that kind of down place, for whatever reason, right? You can just kind of go in and sort of turn off when that's on. So that's in there. What else have I got written down? Yeah, again, just the instrumentation, really just sort of a gorgeous bit of music. Nice slow pace. The name's a wee bit misleading, but I'll let you figure that one out for yourself. Nights I Can't Love You by Evan Bartels has made my music that makes me sad playlist this week. And then finally, number 5 for this week, because I don't want to kind of overdo this and talk about 30 songs. Is one I kind of figured it my first week I should have one for all the playlists, because some weeks we might not hit, I might not find a sad song that I want to include, but I needed one for the music that makes me work out, and so we have Rainbow Veins by Bullet for My Valentine. I'm not really au fait with kind of where a lot of rock and metal music is right now. So I don't know kind of, are people still listening to Bullet for My Valentine? I remember their first album back in 2006, 2007 maybe. And that was a huge deal. Tears Don't Fall, things like that. That was I don't know if it was their first album, but it was certainly their first kind of commercial breakthrough album in the UK anyway. And it was a huge deal. I listened to that a huge amount. And it was like, it hit you like a steam train as far as albums go. There was very little let up in that. So to see them pop up again, I was like, okay, cool, let's see what they're doing a decade later. I haven't really been in the Bullet for My Valentine stage in my life for a while. But, they're good to work out to. Some of their old stuff's still on my playlist. So Rainbow Veins is a bit different. It kind of starts mid-tempo for mid-tempo for Bullet for My Valentine, right? Starts low and slow. It kind of builds up. The guitar tone is classic. It's exactly how I remember it being. It's got that sort of tone that instantly I'm like, oh, it's Bullet for My Valentine, right? I've made a note here that it's more mature, and I think what I mean by that is, like I said, in the first album, everything was 200 miles an hour. Like, it was all about showing off all the time. Like, the drummer's on it the whole time. The guitar work's constantly bashing out riffs. The singer's basically ripping his own throat out to get that growl going. And it was great, right? Like, it really made a statement. But now they're releasing music that has a bit more thought into it. There's a bit more suspense. There's a wee bit sort of like, there's more growth in the songs. Like, there's transition. There's stuff happening in it. So, like that was a real pleaser for me. Round about the 3-minute mark, it kicks off though. Like, you're straight back into what I would consider classic Bullet for My Valentine. Double kick work, snare work. I've just written savage. It's just superb drum tone, delivered like they're trying to hurt you from the other side of the speaker. And it's got this really tight rhythm section that plays off of the guitars, which is kind of where I want to be whenever I'm trying to do weights or what have you. And then it drops and builds, and it sort of rides this wave a lot more into a last chorus. The outro is another sort of taste. In a technical sense, it's more into like that middle section in the 3 minutes. So they've got these sort of interweaving parts that is definitely more mature Now I've taken a big break from Bullet for My Valentine, so I can't kind of speak necessarily to the interim from like where it was 200 miles an hour to where it is now. But where it is now, I really like. I think it's a massive step forward. I don't know how their evolution has been going over the years, and I'm kind of inclined to go and check that out. It sort of remind me a wee bit of Seven Dust. Like I kind of got back into them recently. There's a few of them on the Music That Makes Me Workout playlist as well. And, I listened to like, the Animosity album 10, 15 years ago. Absolutely, again, same big album, really, really aggressive. And now their new stuff is just as aggressive, but there's a lot more maturity in the sort of song development. Which I really appreciate, and I think most people, even if they don't necessarily know music structure, do kind of get after a while that even subliminally you hear this, right? So it's been pretty good to listen to. So yeah, Rainbow Veins, Bullet for My Valentine, savage big song, and that's kind of the ones that really hit me this week. I have a load more to review. I actually just wanted to keep it relatively short. For a first episode, but I would come back to point 4 of my rules, that I really want to hear from people, right? I want to hear from independent musicians, I want to hear from bands, I want to hear from friends of bands, mothers of bands, I don't care, right? I'm all about finding new music, I'm all about discovering new stuff. I listen to basically everything, like I said, except really for dance. Never been a dance guy, so there's a solid good chance if I listen to it and I like it, even if it doesn't necessarily make the podcast, it could certainly make the playlist, because I maybe add more songs in than the podcast is going to allow me to do. So head on over to chaseariver.com or musicthatmakesme.com. Find the stuff if you're watching me on YouTube, or you're just listening to this and wherever you're getting your podcast from. Thank you so much for joining. And look, subscribe, like, all that nonsense that social media is. Come say hi. I'm a fairly amicable type chap, and let's make something here. Let's talk about great music. That's all I really want to do. I'm not going to talk about bad music, because that's not fair. And the rest of it is just going to be positive vibes and great music, which I think we can all enjoy. Go over to Spotify where all the playlists are. I will have linked this below on the YouTube video, and certainly on any of the socials as well for any of the guys that I've mentioned here today. And look, thanks very much for joining, and I'll be putting one of these out once a week. So get in touch, and until next time, take care.